I honestly don't know how I missed this, to be honest. It's a bit of poor form from my part, but Gabbie Hanna has released a bit of content. Well, she hasn't really released it herself. She has appeared on a podcast. But for any of you who don't know, Gabbie Hanna pretty much ditched the internet. She hasn't posted in over a year on both her Instagram and her YouTube channel. And then on her TikTok in February, she posted a tattoo removal situation. And apart from that, she's been silent. And obviously for someone whose job is social media, you would probably expect them to be posting consistently. When they're not, it's a little bit notable. So Gabbie originally got her start in social media on Vine. I then believe she moved to LA from college, but she worked at BuzzFeed for a hot minute, and then she ended up basically like going full-time with social media. She started a YouTube channel, as lots of Viners did, and obviously because Vine got deleted, she was one of the people who started a YouTube channel and got successful with that. At the time when she was on YouTube, she originally got really successful due to her story time, and then her content sort of switched around into more challenges and the most random things. And I think I've said this before on my channel. Why watching a 28-year-old woman clean out her car, which has a ton of stuff in it and is extremely messy, was like top tier content for 2018 me? I'm honestly really not sure. Not gonna lie, I do miss those videos. They're deleted. I'm sure you can probably find them if you were to search up a channel or something that's reposted them. Throughout her history with her YouTube channel, she did have a couple scandals, which I'm not going to really dive into and give much of an opinion on. But she had the video where she spoke about how her classmate passed away and she got in trouble for that. She also posted a video, which I don't know whether she got in trouble for it at the time. And then also, I think one of her most notable YouTube dramas was her and the Rice Gum situation, where Rice Gum broke her phone at a party. And with that situation, I do feel bad for her. So she had a situation with Jessie Smiles, and then also a situation with Trisha Paytas. I don't know what to say about that one. So obviously, Gabbie was in an era where YouTube was really popping off prior to TikTok. So everyone kind of went to YouTube for their entertainment, whereas obviously there is kind of a fight now between YouTube and TikTok. But Gabbie decided she wanted to become a singer like lots of other YouTubers, but I believe her sort of thing is she wanted to do it seriously because she seriously had a passion for music. So she sung some songs, and some of them are actually catchy. I do rate them. I listen to them not very often, but if they happen to come up, they are a bop, and I did listen to them at the time. One of the songs she released was called Monster, and I'm sure I don't really need to remind anyone, but there was the monster meme.
So what if I'm the monster that's been here all along?
Which I think was sort of the beginning of the whole Gabbie Hanna downfall situation, because that was a lot, and I do kind of feel bad for her a little bit. I feel like it was kind of at the beginning of the pandemic that Gabbie sort of had a major rebrand, where she pretty much deleted all the content off her channels and obviously made a TikTok, as lots of other YouTubers have kind of transitioned to make a TikTok as well. And she posted some interesting things on there, and that was kind of the way it went. So Gabbie had a lot of pieces of content which she's posted which haven't gone as I believe she intended them to. One of them was on her YouTube channel, where she posted a series which has now been deleted, trying to expose everyone that wronged her, but it just went really badly. And it was just like, this is not valid, not a good idea to do this, because pretty much everyone she made a video about made a video pretty much disproving very easily what had happened. And then also as well on TikTok, so Gabbie really didn't post YouTube videos. She doesn't really anymore. She posted 100 TikToks in a day. They were trying to call welfare checks on her. It was just really, I don't quite know whether mental illness is involved with that or whether it is just her just choosing to act like that. I'm really not that sure. It was very odd, to say the least, and she just said problematic things. There was a random man on TikTok, which I still don't understand how the hell that guy thought that was alright, but he snuck off the street because he knew where she lived. Didn't sneak off the street, sorry, that was random, I don't know why I said that, to knock on her door and go into her house, which is what he did. I don't believe it's technically breaking and entering or breaking into her house, but it was very interesting. And then he went in there to try and take photos of private information of her, and then she screamed at him and he left. And it was just really, really an interesting time. To an extent, I don't know how this is going to be received by everyone, but I do think I do have a sense of sympathy for Gabbie, somewhat. I know obviously she has done problematic things, but I hope she's okay. After that whole TikTok situation, she pretty much just abandoned everything, and we haven't really heard from her that much. Well, obviously the audience hasn't heard from her, not me personally, but we have heard a couple things through the grapevine. So the first thing is that she has sold her house in LA. That was on news articles, not providing you this piece of information. It sold last month, so don't really know where she's going. I mean, I guess one can assume that she's probably moving to Pennsylvania, which is where she was originally from. So pretty much toward the end of June this year, not 100% sure how I missed it. So a man by the name of Prince EA, which he has 6 million subscribers on YouTube, 1.8 million on TikTok, couple 100,000 on Instagram. Now look, I've never heard of this man, okay? And when I say that, that is not me trying to be insulting whatsoever. I've not heard of plenty of people. Lots of people have not heard of me, okay? I'm not trying to be offensive when I say that. I just don't know this guy's sort of background and what I think of him, because I don't know him. So he had a podcast episode where he pretty much brings people into his sauna and speaks to them. And this is the first time we've heard Gabbie in a long time speak for a long time. So the episode was an hour, 20 minutes. I will link it below. So the first thing she said was, TikTok is a cesspool. That was a direct quote of hers. And I can see where she's coming from, because obviously that was, definitely not her brightest era when she was posting on TikTok. And I do agree that there is a lot of toxicity on TikTok, especially with YouTubers who don't really have the best track record. TikTok has just made it really easy and accessible to post content, which is a good thing. Yet also for backlash and hate for people, it's not. And especially in Gabbie's case, because it literally takes her 30 seconds to make a video, and that was obviously how she was able to upload 100 videos in a day. So something else which Gabbie said was, in her opinion, Instagram is the best social media platform, which in my opinion makes lots of sense, because she obviously has had her beef with YouTube. She obviously does not like TikTok because she said TikTok was the worst. So I guess that makes sense, because she's probably not going to say Facebook, and I think that's kind of really the only one left. So the other thing she said as well is that she wants to muster up the courage to have the strength to delete all her social media pages, actually delete them, not just delete the app and not post on them. That's where I kind of find it a bit confusing, because she says at this point in the podcast, she's like, I just want to delete all my social medias. I wish I had the courage to do it. But then later on in the podcast, she totally contradicts herself. So I really don't understand what she sort of means. I do think she will eventually come back. It's very religious, and I don't really know where I stand with religion. I'm pretty sure obviously everyone has their own opinions and beliefs, and none of it's really wrong or right, I guess. But some of the things she says is a little bit I kind of get where you're going with it, and I kind of agree with it, yet I also don't really. So that's probably the most wishy-washy response in regard to the way in which she sort of says things. But some of the things she says which are interesting are, social media is evil as it takes away from your time with the Lord. Kind of get it, okay? I do. I kind of understand. But I just find it really, really, really ironic when it's people who literally have made millions of dollars by creating social media content are always the ones to turn around and say social media is evil. And it's like, well, if I got a couple $1 million from social media and was presumably set up for life from social media, I really think that's incredibly hypocritical, because it's like, hello? I don't quite remember whether this is relevant to Gabbie. I should look into this, and I might add a clip over this. I'm pretty sure at some point she did sort of say, I'm not a role model or something like that on TikTok, being like, it's your fault if you choose to follow me, that's the way you are. But in this podcast, she's speaking about female rappers and also herself in how that everyone is a role model, regardless of if you have a platform or not and all that stuff. So I don't know whether she's just equalizing like herself with everyone. She sucks a push pop throughout the podcast, like one of those ring lollipops, which is a bit odd. She says that she is in a season of rest, and that's why I've titled the video the way I have, because I'm quite confused. Because she says at some point, she's like, I wish I could muster up the courage to delete my social media. And then other parts of it, she says like, oh, I'm just getting ready for my comeback. So it's like, I don't really understand what you're sort of saying, but I mean, good on ya, I guess. On her whole social media is toxic narrative, she also says that people are not looking in a mirror enough, and apparently people should get naked and look at themselves in a mirror more instead of looking at their face in a phone screen, because it's toxic because it's inverted and there's the possibility that people can see it, but we should stand in the mirror judging ourselves as we're naked. And I don't really understand what she is going on about, but good on her. She also says that social media is demonic, which again, right, thank you for that. I don't know how one sort of repents for their actions on social media. I feel as though if you're really like social media is that evil, you would probably, I don't know, maybe sell all your houses and all the money you got that was dirty from social media and just kind of give it all up and start again. But I guess they're probably not going to do that because, yeah, it doesn't sound like she's willing to do that. So as well, and the reason why I do think there is going to be a comeback is because she has stated that she has filmed content actually, and she's got plenty of voice notes and all this stuff, which I think will come eventually. But I just don't really understand, because she's like, I'm blessed to have this platform, etc., etc. She's going to post these videos, and I don't think it's probably going to go the way she wants it to, really. I don't think it's going to achieve much, because people are just sort of thinking, what the heck? If that's what she feels as though she needs to do, I guess we can't really, well, obviously I can't stop her. The other thing as well, she says, is she's become extremely religious, which I don't know what to think of that. But she sort of says everything is God's plan. If it happens, it's meant to happen. God knew that things were going to happen, and then they happened the way they did. I mean, honestly, I'm happy for her, I guess, because she has turned to religion. But also there are lots of comments on the video being like, this is mental illness. I hope that she is safe and she is getting looked after and getting help if she does need help, and obviously to work through the things she has. But that's kind of really the only sort of updates or comments I have. So I know this video was a bit random, but I hope you enjoyed this sort of update. I think people do appreciate on my channel when I give updates about creators who are no longer around that years ago when we were all younger we watched. So I'm more than happy to keep giving you those. Please comment below if there are any other creators that you would like me to do a bit of a deep dive on, or find if they've posted any new content or anything like that. If you're not subscribed to my channel, could you please, as it really does help me. Also, if you haven't already, could you please give this video a thumbs up. See ya.